Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Elliot Brown here in the Essex Business Radio studio. Social distancing, of course, so everybody I'm speaking to, which is quite a lot of people all over the place now, about C-19 and how we all deal with it. Today, I have got Shim Ravalia, who is in East London and is the CEO and founder of the Gut Intuition. How you doing, Shim?
I'm very well, thanks, Elliot. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you very much. It's a very sunny day. I'm obviously stuck in here in the studio and chatting to important and interesting people like yourself. So yeah, thanks very much for coming on the show. Absolute pleasure getting you on and chatting to me. How is this affected? Tell us a little bit, first of all, how's this affected? Tell us a little bit about Gut Intuition and what you do, first of all.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, by the way. The Gut Intuition's all about combining the physical, emotional, and mental aspects of health together. I'm a big believer in that. And what we essentially do is help people go from overwhelmed, stressed out to the max, to actually raise a sharp clarity and focus. Because as a business owner, I went through a lot of that in my first business of trying to wear so many hats and deal with this and deal with that. You know how that feels sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
But actually putting my own health right at the bottom of the list, and business comes first, and sort of a work hard, play hard kind of mentality. So for me, the Gut Intuition started off with my own sort of health issues and then kind of transformed into an idea, then into a business. So it's only been running for about a year and a half now. So
Oh, good. And so who are the sort of people you tend to work with then? What sort of clients do you have?
So we've got business owners, so male and female. We've got I do get talking to people that have the 9-to-5 kind of lifestyle. And then obviously most recently I was working with WeWork, which was our first ever corporate company that we were working with. So
interesting. Big firm.
Big firm, yes.
Yeah. So obviously this has changed what you do. I would think, knowing from the sort of industry that you're in and what you do, that you probably have video calls, you probably have contact like this with your clients outside of when you do face-to-face stuff anyway. Has it massively shifted what you're doing so far?
I think it has in a way, because a lot of the work that we were doing were online, like you and I are having now on a Zoom call, recorded calls with clients, etc. But then there was a big part of the Gut Intuition where, as part of the brand, it was really about really going out there and building relationships, because that's my core strength as a business owner. It's like, I'm going to utilize that as well as I can.
Of course.
And I love talking to people. So you can imagine what this lockdown's doing to me right now and how much I can take just talking to people on like online and stuff. But it is what it is at the minute. So that all stopped, you see. So it was like really transitioning that and going, well, what can I do? Who do I know in my network that can help me build something? Because I believe in my business. I believe in me. Like, I believe in the value that I bring to people. So I was like, this is not a question of giving up or panicking, although I was a little bit worried. But I was like, who do I know in my network that can help me with this whole online stuff? Like, I'm a bit of a technophobe. I don't know about you, Elliot, but you know, I can just throw wobbly sometimes on this all techie stuff.
Oh,
so I was like, who can explain to me in layman terms of how can I really get value out to people that are currently like really stressed out, struggling with just coping with, you know, with whatever's going on at the moment, not sleeping well, not drinking water, not looking after themselves, like eating the right types of food. Like, I want to get this information out there. And I found someone, an awesome mentor that can really help me. So, you know, I've just been developing a course behind the scenes, and that should be ready in the next few weeks.
Oh, good. So you're using the time wisely then.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I've still got my down days where I'm just chilling out, and not that I can chill out so many corners of my house, but, you know, just coming away from work and giving myself a bit of a break from the laptop and the phone and stuff. I think that's really, really important. And just looking after myself, but then having the time where I like, okay, I'm in creative mode. What can I do for the next 2 hours? Not like how I used to go, I've got 9 till 8, I'm going to work. Like, it's just, that's just totally not the point. The point is that you can, how much you can use or do utilize your time in a short space of time, really. Like,
So I was going to say, do you find that you're structuring your day better now than you were previously?
100%.
Now, isn't that mad? Because do you know what? This seems to be the general feel that everybody's structuring their day better. My working environment hasn't changed a huge amount, but I'm finding I'm structuring my day better as well, which is surprising. I've always been much better at structuring other people's when I work with them as clients than I do structuring my own. I have to be honest with you, but it does seem to be, there is definitely a shift in that, which is good. You know, if everybody gets a slightly more organized, you actually get more done, even though you may actually be, seemingly, as you said, you've got 8 hours and all you do is just go boom, hell for leather and do as much as you can.
That's it. Yeah.
Not always the best way to utilize your time, is it?
No, because I think if you're sitting down for a long period of time, like you're not moving, you're not really helping your body in any way, shape, or form, and actually you're just staring at a screen, which gives off a lot of light, which doesn't really help when you want to sort of switch off and stuff. So I think the best advice I can give to people right now is just, maybe 1 or 2 hours, just breakout sessions of where you go, right, I'm just going to work on one topic because this is what's helped me.
Yeah.
And then switch off my mobile phone and just have my laptop on. And I'm like, right, I don't want any other distractions, no TV on, nothing.
Yeah.
And then just literally get that one task done.
Okay.
Like before, I was very much
That
having
is
a
really
long...
focused, isn't it? I'm impressed. Switching the phone off freaks me out. The whole idea of switching the phone off freaks me completely.
It's like the pure silence of it, because I was like, for 2 hours, Shim, you can concentrate on one thing. Like, rather than, because when we get so distracted and, what's going on outside, what's going on Facebook, whatever, you just can't get the work done. And I'm like, this stuff that I'm creating right now is more important than what's going on Facebook or, what Tom, Dick and Harry are doing. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, if I really want to get this done, I'm going to need to do something different to what I was doing before COVID-19 hit.
And do you think that you're sort of creating the content and stuff that you're doing? Do you think you actually are moving ahead quicker than you would have done previously if you were to try and create something?
Absolutely. Like, it's
you've got
every day
as you said, you've got less distraction, haven't you? You've got less distraction. Switching the phone off for an hour, I think, is a great tip. And I might give it a go. I'll report back to you and let you know how that works out for me. I might also have a complete breakdown doing it, to be fair.
Or just put it on silent and then, put it on silent and you'll be all right. It doesn't work. Exactly. That's how you got to switch it off.
And you know what? I think you're probably right. I probably do need to switch it off completely and do that, because I do. I mean, doing this has generated, as we said before we started recording, has generated a huge amount of work, and I really enjoy doing it. But it has created way more work than I envisaged, and that's why I've had to structure my time. But I seem to be more productive in the afternoons. I don't know what your hours are like, but afternoon, evening, night, I'm on it.
Right. I think for me it's a bit different because I'm not a night owl or anything like that. But I'm much more stricter with my sleep patterns and my wake up times, because just generally knowing like what goes on in your body when you're trying to recover from the day to the moment you wake up. Just on the subject of sleep, really, that's your master clock. So for me, I wouldn't want to mess that up. So I'm quite productive in the morning, afternoon, and then my evening time is my favorite time of the day, where it's dinner, something on telly. This is where I switch off. Like, I am not going to be on laptops and phones. And literally, I've just been getting into a routine of actually putting an alarm on my phone to say between 9 and 9:15 p.m. in the evening, it's time to switch off. Like, tomorrow is another day. All these notifications and, that we always get, that we're constantly like, oh, what is it? What is it? That can wait till another day. Not even 24 hours. It's like, 8 hours, 9 hours, how many hours. And I think it's just an attitude change, really, because social media and everything's always going to be there. But I think your health is the utmost important. It's the reason why I do the gut intuition, because self-care for me is non-negotiable. It's at the top of the list, whereas before it used to be right down at the bottom. But I could see like how much it impacted my business at the time, profits and scalability and lack of growth. And just not able to make really good, solid decisions at the time because of the amount of pressure you put on yourselves. And I think, especially at a time like this, my biggest message really is just look after yourself inside out. Just
Yeah.
do the basics well, like even if it's just sleep, food, and water.
Right. Just
Like
do
it will
it
help.
well.
Like food, for example, I make sure that I get enough proteins and carbs and fats in my diet throughout the
Yeah.
day because I don't want that slump.
Yes.
I don't want my stomach to rumble and go, you're hungry, get up, because I want to concentrate on my work.
Okay.
So, you know, my sugar levels aren't going up and down, they're kind of maintained. So my
Right.
productivity is a lot higher. And this is something that I'm sort of putting in the course as well to just help
Okay.
business owners, sort of
Wow.
give them the educational tools to go, you know what, you can be productive. It's not like a rocket science thing
Yeah.
or a magic pill that you've got to eat
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be more productive. So
Listen. I'm going to start trying some of this. To be honest, I mean,
I
all of
think
the
you
things
should.
all of the things you're saying there. I'd love to say this on this podcast. That yeah, of course I do all those things. Yeah, I'm looking after myself.
Evidence.
I'm not getting the rumble in the stomach. I'm eating at all the right times. Yeah, I can't say that I am. So I'm going to be. We'll have a little chat after this, and you can help me. You can help
Absolutely,
me
no
out.
worries. That's what I'm here for. So
Yeah, great stuff. So listen, what I mean, how have you changed what you are doing? You're doing more online stuff. Are you doing more work with people? You know,
yes,
as I said
so
before, I asked you. Go on.
I've had, so obviously I'm creating a course, so that's going to be sort of at the front end of the gut intuition. Is like, you know what? There's some awesome tools, DIY, do it yourself,
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
All the other stuff, when we come out this lockdown, and obviously there's going to be an aftermath of it as well. A
yeah.
lot of this stuff's going to be super, super useful for everybody.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously when we're out of the lockdown, this is when I'll be able to pick up the whole sort of speaking engagements and the networking opportunities out there and just connecting with humans again, which is
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed recently is doing a few more podcasts of people coming to me and talking to me and telling me that can you do a podcast about gut health to my
Uh-huh.
group of
Uh-huh.
ladies or men that I train,
Yeah.
etc. So
Yeah.
interviews and things like that, very similar to what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I've got my first ever virtual gig next Friday, actually.
Oh, have you? Cool. Tell us about that.
That's it's called the Fearless, and it's a virtual summit gig where we've got about over 150 speakers, including myself, talking about various topics. And the
Cool.
topic that I'm bringing towards the table is how every business owner can have more time without having to try to find a balance.
Right.
Because for me, over the years of being one, this was often my conflict.
Yeah.
Like, do I just spend an hour in the gym working on myself, or do
Mhm.
I just spend the hour on my business? Because you know what, that's where the money is. That's where I'm going to get more money if I keep spending all that time. But it's a vicious cycle, Elliot. It really is. And it's if you don't come out of that and you take a pause point, a lot of the time we will constantly keep telling ourselves, I don't have time to exercise, or I don't have time to eat well, I don't have time to do this, and it just becomes a normal thing, almost like, what's the weather like today?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Genuinely, I mean, what you're saying is absolutely true. For 2 years, I mean, I've started running again in the last couple of weeks, and I used to go to the gym 3-4 times a week up until probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I hadn't been to the gym for 18 months. Because I was constantly thinking, I mean, the mad thing is it's a 24-hour gym as well. Madness, because I actually quite like training late, and then I'd work later and later, and it gets to 1 o'clock and I think it's a bit late to go to the gym for like a year and a half, reinventing doing what I'm doing now. Of course, I've completely reinvented everything again in the last few weeks. So, but now I'm going, Joe, what, I need to make time to go for a run. So for me, and I'm just using my experience, it's given me a shift to go, well, do you know what, you've got to start concentrating on yourself. You know, this is something like this makes you sort of sit up and think a little bit, doesn't it? You know, it's impacting everybody rather than just what, in essence, you're impacting yourself in your own business, in your own little world.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give from an empty tank, especially if you're a business owner and you're in an industry where you're serving a lot of clients, or you've got products that are serving a lot of clients.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not looking after yourself, honestly, people by people, like, you're going to give off a weird energy, because it's like, well, like, do you have the energy to do it? Your mood might be a bit off. You're probably a bit more burnt out, fatigued, all those sort of things that I see all the time, because I've been through it myself. And I'm like, I honestly weren't that great that day when we had that meeting, because I didn't eat breakfast. I skipped it because I thought I was going to be late. And then I ate a load of carbs at lunch.
Yeah.
And then I'm crashing by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I need a coffee. And so it's caffeine and all this sort of stuff. So it literally is a vicious cycle. And unless you take that pause point and go, okay. And you know what? My biggest advice with self-care, it doesn't need to be a massive thing. Like, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, I used to train 7 days a week
at
one point. And that obviously had horrendous effects on my body eventually after a while. However, for me to bring that back into exercising again, I just started off with walks.
Right.
And people think that it needs to be this massive action. Just take micro actions on a day-to-day basis on just one thing. And if it's movement, if we're talking about movement and not exercise, half an hour walks. We still, you know, during this time, we've still got the opportunity to even go outside.
Yes.
Keeping your distance, of course, and go outside and just go for 20-minute, half an hour walk. The weather is beautiful.
Definitely.
And entirely that is obviously your choice. But nobody said that you've got to exercise to be fit. Like, there's being fit is in other ways. Like, after that, once you get used to movement, maybe you might want to consider maybe increasing your water, because I know a lot of people don't drink enough water, and it's such
a lot of people don't.
Simple
for sure.
thing. A lot of health professionals bang on about it, like I am right now. But there are so many benefits to that, especially for your immune system at such a time like this.
Yeah.
And then obviously food. Nobody said you've got to skip and cut out all sorts of yummy stuff. Like, you can have chocolate and cake and all that, but you just got to realize, like, moderate it a little bit. Like, the 80-20 rule is what is the rule that I live by, which is, you know, 80% of my week is pretty on point. Like, I am, you know, sleeping well, hydrating well, food, etc. But then there's 20% of it, like, especially at weekends when, you know, it's a bit different and you're doing a virtual pub quiz, you might want to have a gin or two, something like that. So, you know, before, I know many people, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Where 80% of it is just not great, and 20% of it try and be good for a day.
Yeah.
But actually, if you transition, make it a little bit slowly, take it step by step, you're able to not be so overwhelmed, because running a business is overwhelming.
Yeah.
You don't need your self-care to be overwhelming at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So self-care you can take it step by step, each day by day, and just be kind to yourself. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Well, listen, there's a lot to be taken from what you've gone over there. I think there's quite a few tips that people can take in their general lives, but particularly at the moment, you know, to keep themselves on point. Look, I appreciate your time today. Thank you very much for coming on and having a chat.
Problem.
Where can people find you, Shim? Where can they find the Gut Intuition?
They can find us on Facebook. Just find us. We've got a group of really great people in there. And then you can find me on LinkedIn as well. So connect. If you've got questions, say hello, and I'll be happy to accept and get chatting to people. So.
Great. Well, we'll make sure there's a link around the post and that we put out there as well. You'll share this out to your audience and stuff on your socials as well for us, won't you? Great stuff.
Definitely.
Well, listen, I wish you the best of luck with what you're creating, the new part of the business. I'm absolutely confident that you're going to absolutely smash it. So that's going to be fine.
Thank you.
And let's keep in contact and you know, maybe have a chat in the near future and see how things are going.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks very much, Shim. Shim Ravalia there from the Gut Intuition, and there'll be something around the post so you can check her out, and there'll be a link. If you don't know about Essex Business Radio, this is the first time you've heard or seen us, go and check out www.essexbusinessradio.com, where you will find all of the links for the free app, which you can hear all of the the old episodes and new episodes as well. Thanks again, Shim, and thank you to you all for listening and watching. So I'm going to sign off for now. So it's ciao for now, brown cow.